Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rewind Gen X podcast with Matt and Allie. I'm Matt.
And I'm Allie.
And today we have a special guest, Jimmy.
Thank you for the invite, everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, today's movie is the reason I invited Jimmy because I know he's a big fan of it. And so when I decided to do Predator, because, the first two movies Allie had seen before, but she'd never seen Predator. It's an R-rated movie. It's not something that you show your little kids like Goonies or Indiana Jones, but I think she was ready for it since she told me that she's already watched the movie Scream with her friends, which I was surprised about. But I'm like, okay, well, if you can handle Scream, you can handle Predator. So I asked Jimmy if he'd be interested in doing Predator with us. And Jimmy?
Yep. Yeah, it was a movie I remember from when I was a kid. I remember going to see it in the movie theaters with my father. I believe it was in 1987.
It was.
And it was, yeah, at that time, it was the coolest thing I had seen up to that point.
Very cool. I actually remember, I did not see it in the theaters, but I remember starting high school right after the summer of 87. And freshman year, first day of class, I sat next to Mike Heelan because I'd known him since the second grade. And he's the only guy I recognized in class. And of course, we immediately gravitated to each other and sat next to each other in Spanish class. And he said, "Hey, man, did you see Predator this summer?" And I was like, no. I mean, I saw the previews, but I didn't get a chance to see it. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you didn't see it in the theaters. It was amazing." And I always remember that. And yeah, in hindsight, he was right. But we will get to our grades in a second. But first, we're just going to show you a quick little part of the trailer from 1987. This is Predator.
In a part of the world where there are no rules.
We pick up their trailer at the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages before anybody knows we were there.
What do you mean we?
Deep in the jungle, where nothing that lives is safe.
You lose it here, you're in a world of hurt.
Showtime, kid. Knock.
An elite rescue squad
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
is being led by the ultimate warrior.
We need the best. That's why you're here.
But now,
What's got Billy so spooked? There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
they're up against the ultimate enemy.
Holy Mother of God.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before.
She says the jungle just came alive and took him.
We cannot see it,
No blood, no bodies. We hit nothing.
but it sees the heat of our bodies and the heat of our fear.
Whatever it is out there, it killed Hopper. And now it wants us.
It kills for pleasure.
He was skinned alive.
It hunts for sport.
It's killing us one at a time.
We're all gonna die.
But this time, it's picked the wrong man to hunt.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
20th Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator.
All right, guys. So that was the trailer or part of the trailer for Predator from 1987. There's been like 5 or 6 sequels since then, at least.
Really?
Yeah, including the Alien Predator movies. But yeah, it's a pretty big franchise, and it all spawned from this particular film. So let's go ahead and get into the grades. Allie, we'll start with you.
All right. So I don't think many people are gonna be happy with me, but I gave this a B minus. Like, I liked it. I just didn't think it was my kind of movie. It felt very like Macho Man. A lot of like, I wasn't super happy with the pacing. I felt like a lot of the characters were just like not well done, I guess. Like, the only characters that were really had a backstory or like character arc were Dutch and what's the other guy's name?
Carl Weathers?
Yes,
Dylan.
Dylan. Yeah. So, but it was a good movie. I liked the action. I mean, it was interesting plot. I just had some problems with it, but yeah, B minus.
All right, I'll go next, and we'll ask Jimmy's save the best for last. So listen, I was torn between an A and an A plus, and I have to say that I didn't find enough wrong with it. I mean, I have a couple of tiny little critiques, very small, but it would it would maybe bring it from 100 to a 98, which is still an A plus in my opinion. So I'm just going to go straight A plus. I can't remember liking this movie as much back then as when I watched it again last night or the day before.
You think you liked it better now?
Yeah,
Oh.
I was so amped. I just couldn't believe how badass this movie still felt. The special effects, even though they're old, they still hold up pretty good. And but even if they didn't, I really wouldn't mark it for that because for its time, the special effects were like top notch. And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and but I just thought it was so cool. So every one scene after the other, I was just like, and I love the characters. Arnold's great. I think he's at his finest form in this movie. I think this is probably his best movie, even better than Terminator 2, Judgment Day, which is really saying something because in that movie, he's like a co-star, but he co-leads it with a couple other people. In this one, he's the star. But speaking of his co-stars, I loved Mac. I loved Blaine. Both play. Mac was played by Bill Duke, Blaine by Jesse the Body Ventura, and I loved, and he might be my MVP. Billy. Billy or Mac. Those guys are so cool, and again, Blaine too. Jesse the Body is so badass.
We'll get into it later, but
I love those three guys so much. They were so cool. It made the other two guys, Poncho and Hawkins, seem just meh. I mean, they're fine. They played their role, but compared to those three, it was just hard for them to stand out because those three they're so neat, so great characters rather. All right, go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay, so I give it a solid A, and nostalgia is included in that score. It's just I really enjoyed that movie as a kid growing up. I can't tell you how many times I probably watched it. It's just a good movie. It's the characters were great. The special effects were amazing at the time when you saw the Predator and he was in his camouflage form.
Yeah.
Up to that point, that was cutting edge as far as the special effects go.
Yeah.
And if you kind of liked the Alien franchise, it was almost a little bit of a cross between Alien and Commando.
Yeah.
Which I'm a fan of both. I probably lean more on the Commando side, a little less sci-fi, but this movie had a little bit of both of those genres combined. So overall, yeah, for me, a solid A.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Commando fan as well. In fact, I just watched it recently, just on my own, not for this, just because I felt like watching it again. And I do love that movie, but for that one, and I always bring up Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon as an example of so bad it's good. So that's Commando's kind of so bad it's good. It's so cheesy. It's so hammy. There's so many things wrong with it, but it's still so very much enjoyable. But Predator is not so bad it's good. It's just straight up good movie making at its finest. And yeah, so there you go. That's our scores. And now I think it's time to get into the casting couch.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is Casting Couch. Of course, we're going to start with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'm just going to real quick skip over like the first few things he did, like Hercules in New York and Pumping Iron, where he's basically playing himself, to his first real movie, which is, of course, Conan the Barbarian. I love that movie. And then the very next movie he did was Conan the Destroyer, which I actually just watched like two days ago. Just because I love these old movies. And I have to say, Conan the Destroyer, God, those special effects are horrible. They're so bad. The movie itself is pretty bad, but again, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I watched it, but yeah, not the best movie. Then he did The Terminator in 1984. And then he did Red Sonja, which is kind of like a Conan movie, but I think they couldn't get the rights to Conan, so they just did a Conan-ish kind of movie. And it's not good. it's not even the so bad it's good kind of a good. It's just yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah, and then he did Commando, and then Raw Deal, and then Predator. And I think this movie was a real stepping stone for him. I think because it's the first of his action movies that actually like got critics liked it. Like it was actually like not just a fun action movie, but it was really good. It was a really good movie, and I think it really turned a corner after that. After that, he did The Running Man, Red Heat, Twins, which was him breaking out into comedy with Danny DeVito, and I think he had a blast doing that. And that really was like another notch on his belt because they're like, oh, he can do comedy, great. And so they started throwing him into more comedies like Kindergarten Cop, which is a classic. He did Total Recall, another classic. T2 Judgment Day, which we briefly mentioned. Last Action Hero, not so good. Not so good. I think I mentioned in our Jurassic Park podcast. I'm not sure if I did or not, but I saw a double feature the night after, the night before graduating boot camp, and I was blown away by Jurassic Park because I hadn't seen previews for either one of these movies because I was locked away for 2 months, and I couldn't believe the special effects. I was just. But then I saw Last Action Hero right after that, and it just could not hold up to it, not even close. And I think the critics kind of felt the same way. Not a good movie. Then he did True Lies. That was definitely a redemption from Last Action Hero. That was a big blockbuster. It was a great movie. Did you like True Lies?
You know what? I remember seeing it. It wasn't my favorite. It didn't stick out. I'm a big fan of the older stuff.
Okay.
This was not my favorite.
Yeah. And then Eraser, not that memorable. Jingle All the Way. Batman and Robin, just two stinkers in my opinion. Sorry if you like those movies. Sorry. I'm not a fan. And then, it just goes on. The Sixth Day, Collateral Damage, T2 or T3 rather, Rise of the Machines. Okay. Then he became the governor. And then he didn't do much until he's cameoed in the Expendable movies. And then he went back to being a movie star with Escape Plan, Sabotage. Yeah. So there you go. That was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is the man of the 80s. I mean, I think there's I have to say, as far as movie stars of the 80s, there's 5 guys that just
stick out.
They stick out. So you got the Planet Hollywood 3, which is Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And then you have Eddie Murphy, who was just huge in the 80s. Huge. And then, who else?
I don't know. I can't come up with a fifth.
Yeah, they're big. Those are the big.
I really have not. I've never seen Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I've never seen the Terminator movies. Never seen the Conan movies. I think the only other thing I've seen him in is Kindergarten Cop.
Okay, yeah, I did say that.
He was good in that. I don't think comedy's his specialty. I don't know. I might get some disagreements on that. I think he's better at action movies.
I would agree with you. He's better at action, but he can do comedy.
I don't think he's bad at comedy. I just think he is much better at playing a hero.
Well, he's a straight man in the comic movies. He does comedy, but he's not being the funny guy. He's a straight man.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Mr. Carl Weathers, who I know Jimmy and I both know him, of course, from the Rocky movies. Jimmy, you want to go over his itinerary,
let's
if you will?
take a look. Carl Weathers. So, 1973 Magnum Force. Did you see that one?
Never
saw
He's
that
uncredited
one.
anyway.
Okay. Friday, Foster, Bucktown, The Four Deuces. Don't know any of those, but I do remember Rocky. There you go. Apollo Creed, 1976.
Yeah.
Yep. Close Encounters of the Third
What?
Kind.
I didn't know he was in that. He was a military police officer in that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Okay, so Force 10 from Navarone, Sergeant Olin Weaver. Didn't see that one either. So, yep. Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3 and 4, Predator.
Yep.
Remember Action Jackson?
I do remember that as well.
Now we're coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
Happy Gilmore, of course.
Yeah, he didn't do much.
Chubbs.
He didn't do much. 92, he did a movie called Hurricane Smith, and then he did Happy Gilmore, and he was in Little Nicky too. Oh, and 8 Crazy Nights. I guess he and Adam Sandler got along. Adam likes to use the same people all the time.
All the time.
Oh, and then in television, obviously, he was in the Mandalorian.
Of course, he's
Right.
great in that.
That's where I
And-
know him from.
Yeah.
I knew his face.
I don't see that on this list, but I'm
Nice.
probably down on TV. There we go.
All right. Well, that's the late great Carl Weathers, who we all love. Then we have Anna. That was she was one of the. I guess she was one of the
She was a
gorillas, right?
hostage.
She was their hostage, but I think she was
Yeah.
part of the gorillas.
Really?
Yeah. I think she was one of the gorillas. Yeah,
okay.
and that's why they took her hostage. She has mostly done Latin American stuff, at least early on. Let's see. So after Predator, she did some TV. She did Miami Vice. Oh, she had a cameo on Predator 2. She didn't do a lot. The Pretender, The Brave. Yeah, she didn't do much. I mean, there's a bunch of TV stuff here. Nothing of real note. Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, Oh, she was in 7 Pounds. Okay, that's the Will Smith movie that I never saw. Well, it's a drama. I like his action stuff, but I was never big into dramas, as I've mentioned before on the show. Not a big drama guy unless you got some dragons or spaceships in it. So, yeah, she's not in a ton, but she was good in this, I thought. Now we have Bill Duke. Bill Duke. I love this guy so much in this movie. I think he's so good. He was in Commando.
Was he Matt?
He was in Commando.
Is that who he was? I like this kid. This was one of the only the 5 guys that I actually enjoyed their character. I think the other ones I didn't like as much. He did a really good job.
He really did. He did do a good job. I think I wrote it down here, but I love when he goes up to Carl Weathers because he knows something's up with Carl Weathers. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's character is a little blinded by it because they were friends, they were in Nam together. But Mac knows something is up with this guy. He does not trust him. And when Carl Weathers makes noise for the second time while they're going through the bush, I wrote it down because I thought this was so cool.
It's a good line.
He walks up to him. He says, "You're ghosting us. I don't care who you are back in the real world. You give up a position again, I'll bleed you real quiet and leave you here." Got that? It's and Carl Weathers is just oh my God. Doesn't matter how jacked Carl Weathers is. This guy is clearly a killer and means what he says, and he takes him very seriously. He's like, "Oh, dude, okay." So he was in Car Wash in 1976. Oh, he's in American Gigolo. Commando, like we said, he's one of the bad guys. Cook. Predator, he did No Man's Land. Action Jackson, he was in that. Nice. Street of No Return. Bird on a Wire. I never saw Bird on a Wire. That's a Mel Gibson, Goldie Hawn movie. It got horrible reviews, and I just didn't want to be disappointed, so I never saw it. Menace to Society, that was a good flick. Sister Act 2. Also director. Oh, he's a director of that. Okay, I know you and your mother love those movies. I'm not a big fan.
Sister Act?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
What was he?
He was Mr. Johnson in Sister Act 2, but apparently he directed it as well. So that's good. He was in Payback, another Mel Gibson movie. Excellent flick. And let's see. Foolish, Never Again, Fever, Exit Wounds.
Wasn't that a Steven Seagal movie?
Which one?
Exit Wounds?
Oh,
I
maybe.
think I saw that.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Steven Seagal. Oh, and DMX. Yeah. All right. I did see that one. X-Men: The Last Stand. Okay, he was Trask. The Go-Getter, The Big Bang, Freaky Deaky, Bad Country. He's still working. And his last movie was a documentary called In Search of Tomorrow, where he plays himself. But in 2021, he was in a movie called No Sudden Move. So yeah, he's still a working actor. He did some television too, and I think he's a really good character actor. Kind of plays the same character in a lot of stuff, but
he's good at it.
He is good at it. Then we have our boy Jesse Ventura. Oh God, he's looking rough
old
these days. Yeah, he is.
There.
He is old. Not that we're not. So well, I shouldn't put you in the same category as me. I got a few years on you.
Right behind you.
But yeah, you're trailing me. So Predator was the first thing he did. Other than pro wrestling. Yeah, he was a pro wrestler. Yep. Jesse the Body Ventura. But I know that Jimmy has to know, what did he do before pro wrestling?
Oh well, I think he's got a military background, right? He was
Navy
he was a
SEAL.
Navy SEAL.
He was a Navy SEAL. He is the real deal. Apparently, him and the guy who played Pancho both have some military backgrounds. I think I'm just giving up some of our fun facts. Yeah. Well, we'll flush it out when we get to it. But yeah, he was a Navy SEAL. He was a pro wrestler. And then he did Predator. He was in The Running Man. He was Captain Freedom in that. Thunderground, No Holds Barred as himself. Okay. Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe. Repossessed as himself. Ricochet. Demolition Man. He was good in that. I like that movie. It's a good Sylvester Stallone movie. He plays himself in a bunch of stuff. Major League 2, Ready to Rumble, Joe Somebody, The Master of Disguise, Stuck on You. All of those he plays himself. He was in The Ringer.
When he plays himself, is it usually like as like an actor or as a fighter?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know because I did see some of those movies. I did see Ready to Rumble and Joe Somebody, but I don't remember them enough. I'm sure I saw Major League 2, but again, I don't remember enough to know if he was playing like himself, the pro wrestler, or just
right,
himself.
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't say for sure. I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a character. He's good in this. He's perfect. He fits right in.
Yeah, he's good as his character.
Yeah. And he's nobody likes the CIA guy. When they're on the chopper flying over, he's chewing tobacco and he spits his dip on Carl Weathers' boot. Yeah. It's just like, ugh. None of those guys except for Arnie seemed to like him. They all knew he was
Carl?
Yeah, they all knew he was not trustworthy. Yeah. They didn't trust him. And they were right. Yeah. Sonny Landham. Billy. This guy, man, he's so cool.
You like this character?
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Really?
Yeah, well, I think Mac actually might be my favorite.
Mac
I love
favorite.
the dry shaving with the razor.
Yes. And then he cuts
himself.
I love,
like I said, I love that line he says to Carl Weathers. So cool. And I think Mac's probably my favorite, but Billy's a real close second.
I think that Billy's character lacked character.
Yeah,
I like Jesse's minigun, so I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with him for the
the
most badass.
I actually have a little note on that one. It's actually I had to look it up. So Blaine has a M134 minigun.
Yeah.
Nicknamed Old Painless. And it can weigh anywhere between 41 to 85 pounds.
If you want to carry that through the jungle, you got my vote.
And talk about great lines when Blaine says,
I ain't got time to bleed.
That was cool.
That was cool. Yeah. Yes, I love that. Okay, he was in The Warriors. All right, he was a policeman in that. That was a weird movie. He was in Poltergeist. Okay, not big roles though. Oh, 48 Hours. I do remember him as Billy Bear in 48 Hours. He was one of the villains in that movie, and he was definitely scary in that. Fleshburn, Firewalker, of course.
Action Jackson.
Oh my goodness, boy! It was a whole reunion of Action Jackson. Man, he was in Lockup. That was a good flick. Best of the Best 2. And then everything else he's been in, it's like just probably straight to video stuff because none of it even has a Wikipedia page for it. So nothing major, but he had his moment in the sun in Predator for sure. We had Richard Chavez as Pancho. I really didn't know him from much. How about you? No, he's not in much. He's just got a very limited Wikipedia filmography here. He was in Witness, which is a good flick with Harrison Ford. But he plays a detective. Ceasefire. Kenny Rogers as the Gambler Part 3. Okay. Predator. That's probably the biggest thing he's done. Nothing else of note, really. LA Takedown, Night Eyes 2, Weapons of Mass Distraction. Nothing that anyone's ever heard of. He did some television, all the usuals. MacGyver, LA Law, Babylon 5, Star Trek Voyager, Walker, Texas Ranger. Yeah, he did a lot of TV. Nothing major. I personally didn't think he stood out in this movie.
Who was he?
Pancho.
Was that the nerd one?
No, that would be Hawkins, who we're coming up to now. Shane Black. He's got a very familiar face. He's done a lot of stuff. He did The Monster Squad, The Last Boy Scout, which I love that movie. And he did Last Action Hero, The Long Kiss Goodnight. That was a Gina Davis flick. Of course, he was Hawkins in Predator. He he's still working. He did Iron Man 3. He did The Nice Guys, that Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg movie. He was in The Predator. Oh, okay. And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So yeah, he's just a steadily working actor. He's got one of those faces that you know him when you see him. And in this one, he actually, he does a few not that funny jokes. Pretty, I was just thinking, like, if it wasn't for the two dirty jokes that Hawkins tells and a little bit of the gore, this could have easily been a PG-13 movie.
R-rated dad jokes.
There are definitely R-rated dad jokes, that's for sure. And again, I think those jokes are that's what gave this the R rating. And like I said, it was pretty gory at parts, but you could easily like take out 3 minutes of this movie and it'd be an easy PG-13 movie. So like if you watch this on regular television, you're not missing out on much.
Even with like the skinned men and like.
Well, that's part of the 3 minutes. Yeah.
That's what you would take out, like the skinned men, the
maybe,
jokes.
Yeah, the jokes, and maybe when the predator pulls out the skull and spine.
Okay.
Even that was, that could probably be in PG-13. Honestly, I think they were shooting for an R rating on this movie.
Why would that be?
I don't know. Sometimes movies they want an R rating.
Lessen their audience.
I guess it all depends on what you're cooking. If it's a Marvel movie, you don't want it to be R. And unless it's Deadpool 3, which the first two were R rated, and so people kind of got used to that, and they didn't want them to soften the Deadpool franchise, so they kept it R.
I think
Yeah.
it's good the way it is.
No, I think they made the right choice. But like I said, a lot of times, movies will like get an R rating and they will edit it to get the PG-13 because they want a bigger audience. But sometimes they want a movie to be to seem like, ooh, like sometimes they'll make a comedy. They want it to be an R-rated comedy because they want to get adults out there seeing it. And they know kids will eventually probably sneak in anyway or get someone to buy the tickets. So, yeah, it's that's just my guess. I don't know that for sure. So the general, who was played by R.G. Armstrong, he doesn't have a very great filmography. He's been working since the 50s. He's been in a lot of stuff. Nothing I could tell you that I recognize except for El Dorado in '67. He's not in a ton. Working straight through the 70s. He's a working actor. And you recognize any of this stuff? I don't recognize any of it. Lone Wolf McQuade. Okay, that's a Chuck Norris movie.
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Stephen
All right,
King.
Stephen King. So I guess in the 80s he starts getting some bigger roles. Jocks. Bulletproof. All right.
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy. Oh, he was Pruneface and Dick Tracy.
Wouldn't have recognized him.
Okay. He was in Payback, the Mel Gibson movie. Invasion of Privacy, Purgatory, and then his final role was something called The Waking, and then he passed away. And so he passed away in 2012, but that was his last film. And that's pretty much it, except for Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator. And I don't know that he's just a really tall dude.
I didn't even know that was played by like a real person.
Yeah. It's a guy in a costume, and there's some fun facts that about who played the Predator originally, and they I'll tell you who it was and why they didn't wind up doing it in our fun facts. But somebody that I know and somebody you now know because I mentioned them in a previous podcast. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh.
Who?
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Muscles from Brussels.
Bloodsport. Another movie.
I mentioned him when we did Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Who is he?
Because the Lao Che played his mentor in
Oh, right.
and Bloodsport. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Such a cool name.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme, the Muscles from Brussels. Yeah. With the high kicks and the splits.
It's a big guy.
Yeah. This guy's did a lot of stuff actually.
The guy that plays Predator?
Yeah, he's just a lot of TV stuff. ER, Night Court.
Now, when he plays Predator, it's in like not the camouflage like time. It's in like, or
he's in the suit. Like I don't know how they did the special effects with the camouflage. That might. Oh, one big thing he did. He was Bigfoot in Harry and the Hendersons. He was Harry.
I've never seen that.
Oh, I know Jimmy.
Did we tell? Yeah,
pretty sure Jimmy
of course,
has.
Harry and the Hendersons was great.
He was
Did we know how tall he was?
7'2".
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
Okay.
big guy.
Predator was supposed to be like at least 7 feet high.
Yeah,
so
and
I'm sure they
Jean
did
Claude
it.
is not that tall, so I don't know what they were thinking hiring him first. But yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I liked. I'll say it when we get to that part in the movie. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get to the movie itself. We've got some notes here. I'll just go ahead and go through the plot of the movie, and by all means, Jimmy and Allie, jump in whenever
Yeah,
you
I
want.
have things to say at certain parts.
Great. So first we see an extraterrestrial spacecraft deploy a shuttle to Earth, and then sometime later, Dutch and his elite paramilitary rescue team, which includes the skilled mercenary Mac, played by Bill Duke, explosive expert Pancho, played by Richard Chavez, the macho Blaine by Jesse Ventura, expert tracker Billy by Sonny Landham, and jokester Hawkins, played by Shane Black. They are tasked with rescuing a local cabinet minister whose helicopter was shot down in a Central American jungle. Dutch's Vietnam War ally Dylan, now a CIA agent, accompanies the team to oversee the mission. I wanted to pose a question to you guys that I thought about. So clearly, because we see the spaceship drop off the pod and land, we know through the movie, as these guys are getting picked off one by one, that it's an alien killing them, right? The audience knows. They don't know. Do you think this would have been better if they didn't show the spaceship dropping off the pod and just let the audience slowly figure it out along with the team?
I think it would have been so much cooler, because like the audience, I think would have been way more fun for the audience to find out with the characters, because you
Yeah.
see the camouflage and then the green blood and this creature that you don't know what it is. I think it would have been more fun for the audience to figure it out. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure movie previews would have ruined it anyway. But, and I'll give you an example of this, right? If you never saw a trailer for the movie From Dusk Till Dawn, which I know you've never seen, it's a movie Quentin Tarantino wrote and stars in with George Clooney. He didn't actually direct it. Robert Rodriguez directed it. But the first half of the movie, you have no idea what the actual plot is, except it's about these two criminals. One is this good-looking brother. They're two brothers. The good-looking one is George Clooney, and he's like, he's a badass, but he's not like a psycho. But his younger brother, played by Quentin Tarantino, is a psycho, and they kidnap a family, and they're on the run. They want to get across the border, and you're thinking, okay, well, that's the plot of the movie. These criminals kidnap this family. They want to get across the border in this family's RV. And then they get across the border, and then they get to a strip club in Mexico. And then about 10 minutes in, it turns into a vampire movie. But like half the movie goes by with no vampires, no hint that this is a scary movie. It's just, then the second half is just pure gory vampires all the way through. And it's like two movies in one almost. And so you're just not expecting it unless, of course, you saw the trailers. So I just thought this might have been better, possibly, if it was a little more like that, where like the first half of the movie, you just think it's an action movie with a bunch of, commandos in the jungle. And then the second half of the movie, it's a sci-fi action movie. I don't know.
Well, I remember watching the first 30-second intro in this movie, and when I saw the spaceship and I saw the pod come out, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed. I thought I was in for another sci-fi movie, and then all of a sudden, that was the only sci-fi hint that you had, and then it went into this army jungle action.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, if they wouldn't have put in that first 30 seconds, I think your mind would have been going in a lot of different directions. Like, what is this thing? But all in all, I think you kind of had to put it in there.
Yeah.
Because where else would you go? Like, how else? Like, what direction would you take it? You got to give more hints somewhere down the line. I think that first 30 seconds really did a lot for lining everything else up after that.
Okay. And so you think it's better that the audience was in on it?
Yeah, I guess I think that's the only way you can really present it.
Okay. I was on the fence, to be honest with you. I couldn't decide which one would have been better, so I figured I'd pose it to you guys. Looks like we're split. All right. Then the team find the helicopter wreckage and traces of guerrilla soldiers, as well as 3 skinned corpses hung high in the trees nearby. Dutch identifies the corpses as Green Berets and becomes suspicious of Dylan's intentions after learning the helicopter was outfitted for surveillance. Dutch's team attacks the guerrilla camp, killing the soldiers and their Russian military allies, and learning that the hostages were actually CIA agents. During this scene, of course, we have a couple of classic Arnie sayings in it. Okay, so I talked about this with Allie beforehand. Jimmy, you've met my friend Big Matt, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Big Matt and I have known him since 6th grade. We were roommates for many years. We bought a house together at one point. And he loves my Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations. And I think he feels about them much like I feel about The Last Dragon. Barry Craves The Last Dragon. So bad it's good. And so I told Allie, I'm going to give
think it's just bad.
it is bad. It's very bad. But I'm going to give a shout out to Big Matt and do a few Arnie impersonations for this podcast for him. And if you also think it's funny, then good. That's what I'm aiming for. I don't think anyone thinks it's good. Okay.
Yeah.
But Arnie sticks a knife into somebody.
Throws the knife.
Throws a knife into him, and the guy gets stuck to the wall. And he says, "Stick around." And then
best one-liner of the movie.
And then
I wrote down. I think he has a lot of good one-liners.
Oh yeah. And then he opens the door with a grenade launcher and says, "Knock, knock." And then, of course, he says this twice. And Big Matt actually got me the T-shirt that says this line. And I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. So the best I could find was an MTV shirt, because Jesse the Body Ventura wears an MTV shirt under his BDUs. But he says it twice, but the second time he says it more distinctly. "Get to the chopper."
Classic.
"Get to the chopper." All right. So there you go, Matt. That was for you. I did my horrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty good.
Before you moved on in the movie,
all right,
that I didn't really know what to expect coming into this movie. I didn't watch the trailer because, I just didn't watch the trailer. But I didn't think it was. I didn't even know it was R-rated. I thought this was gonna be like not that bad of a movie, but it was very like disturbing seeing the bodies skinned and bloody, and it was not a fun way to start the movie. I definitely thought this was gonna be like a different kind of movie.
so if right now you could probably flash Father of the Year right below me. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah.
But I wrote down that I think like in the beginning, like Arnold Schwarzenegger is like very good for this role. Like this is his kind of role, like this like kind of action hero leader thing, and I did say he had really a lot of good one-liners, and they fit him. They fit his character, and they're funny. They're cool. I mean, not when you do it, but like
No,
yeah.
it's not. So yeah, then Carl Weathers' character, he admits that the cabinet minister story was a lie to convince Dutch, who refuses to use his team for assassinations, to eliminate the camp and prevent a Soviet-sponsored invasion. I like that they made it very clear that, as hardcore as Dutch and his team are, they're still pretty good guys. They have morals, and they are not assassins. And they even make a mention of it in the beginning. He says, "Why weren't you in Grenada or one of those?" He says, because I'm not an assassin. That's why I do rescue missions. So I like that they make them, moral characters. People who aren't just hired killers. Are they tough? Can they kill? Do they sometimes have to kill? Yes, but they have morals. They have, morals.
Does that deepen the character for you? That they pick and choose their missions?
Kind of. I mean, I do think the character of Dutch has, a good character and a character arc, but his 5 men, I feel like it's just. I wrote down in my thing. I think that they're one-dimensional characters. It's the funny one, the nerdy one, the macho one. Like, I think they're not as well done as they could be.
Well, you're not wrong. They are a little one-dimensional, but they're still fun.
Yeah.
And I personally like it. I sometimes, not everything has to be, Academy Award theater. Sometimes simplicity is fine. And sometimes you can have one-dimensional characters. If it's a sci-fi action movie, you don't need to get too in depth about, you know, Mac's childhood, or Blaine doesn't have to tell you about when his prom date left him. It's okay. Anyway, I'm defending the movie because I like that so much.
And let me chime in here. The funny thing is this movie growing up in the 80s, I think a lot of kids were watching this movie. I mean, they had Predator Halloween costumes.
For sure.
For kids
For
to
sure.
wear for Halloween. So it wasn't uncommon to be real young like I was, and you were a little older back in the 80s for us to watch that. So you are now a teenager and you're seeing it for the first time. Would you have been scared to see this movie as a younger kid?
Oh, yeah. I think that if I was like 3 years younger, I would have been really scared. I probably would have made you stop at like the 3 bar.
Okay.
There's the difference between the Gen X generation and the movies we grew up on.
I mean, we grew up wearing Darth Vader on our shirt. And
right.
And in hindsight, I'm like, so we're wearing the character who is essentially a genocidal maniac who kills an entire planet of innocent people. And he's plastered on our T-shirt and lunchbox.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
absolutely.
that's the generation we grew up in. Yeah.
I was a Star Wars kid. That my favorite character. Who was my favorite character from Star Wars?
Stormtrooper.
I wore Stormtroopers all the time.
Yeah.
Again, this is like the villains. These are you're not supposed to like these characters, but I had Stormtrooper everything.
Yeah. I mean, I got her to watch the Star Wars movies, and so I did introduce you to them. But on your own, you went shopping with Mom and came home.
Stormtrooper pajamas, hoodies,
Stormtrooper
pillows.
Like buying it on her own. I'm like, okay. Like, you sure you don't like Princess Leia or Luke Skywalker or Chewbacca?
I did, but the Stormtroopers were cooler to me. So
yeah, I mean, I was a big Chewbacca fan myself. My father used to call me Matt Chewbacca. That was like my nickname. He even screamed it when I was walking the stage at graduation. Yeah.
Oh.
You think I'm bad?
Yeah.
But I still love Chewie. That's why Allie and I have a 6-foot cardboard cutout of him
in our garage.
Yes, on the garage door coming into the
house.
And
I'm sure when we review Star Wars, he's gonna have to give his impression.
We'll see. Oh, if that's you asked me, is there anyone else you do an impersonation of, terrible or otherwise? And I said no, but yeah, I guess I do a little bit of Chewie. Yeah. All right.
Oh, and Batman.
I just say I'm Batman. So yeah, when Allie was little, I had these cardboard cutouts all over the man cave, and Batman and Iron Man and Hulk and Indiana Jones and Chewbacca. And I would take her, she was 2 years old, I'd take her in my arms to each one and give her a catchphrase or catch line for every single one of them, and made her memorize them all. Yeah. She could even do the little Chewbacca noise with her throat. a true education for my daughter. Yeah. And now we do a podcast together. Oh. All right. So moving right along. They take Anna hostage. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say one of the special effects that I really enjoyed is I loved being able to see like the monsters or the aliens, the predators POV, like the way that they see things. I thought that was so cool. But also, is it thermal? Because when Dutch is wearing
heat signature, it's a heat signature. Yes.
Really? Because when Dutch is wearing all the mud, he can't see him.
Because the mud is cool.
It's supposed to conceal
it's concealing his body heat.
All right. I got it.
Funny you say that, because I did think that was cool, but one of my only criticisms was at the very end when Dutch is fighting the Predator. We're seeing a lot of the Predator's POV, and it's all red, and you can't make out what's going on, and I thought there was a little too much. Yeah, there was a little too much of that. I'm like, what's happening here?
I thought that was I haven't seen that done a lot, and I really liked it. I thought it was really cool seeing the Predator watch them in the trees before they know.
I agree. That was cool for sure. Yeah. But just that one fight scene, it was just a little too much of his POV. Yeah. I'd like to see a little more of the actual action going on.
Yeah. Oh, I also like the music. I think it helped with suspense. I don't know who did the music, but I think it was really well done in the movie.
Music is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So moving right along, unknowns to the team, a technologically advanced humanoid predator has stalked them since their arrival, remaining invisible with a cloaking device and using thermal imaging vision to see their body heat. And I just want to make a note, I am pretty much reading, not pretty much, I am reading right off of the Wikipedia plot. So I did not write this. I completely jacked it from Wikipedia. So we use a lot of Wikipedia, IMDb for trivia and such. Although I didn't use them for trivia today because they had like 77 pages worth. It was a little too much. I went to another source, but yeah, we're not that. Well, we're lazy. Is what I'm trying to say, or I am lazy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you IMDb, thank you Wikipedia, thank you Internet for all the great stuff that we get to.
Yeah, making our job 10 times easier.
For sure. Standing on the shoulders of giants. All right. So moving right along, Billy. He's the only one this is why I like Billy so much. He's the only one who senses it. He senses it right off the bat. He knows something's amiss. He knows something is up. And because it's that tracker. He's got that tracker sense. He knows something is up.
I love that when he's just staring off in the trees and Arnold's like, what's going on? He's like, there's something out there. There's something out there. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
Because he is a tracker. He's like, he's on it. And, and then who gets attacked first?
So Anna flees and then Hawkins catches her. But as soon as he gets her, he is killed by the predator and Anna witnesses it. But she's spared because she doesn't have a weapon on her. Because he's a hunter.
One thing I loved about the predator, I thought it was very smart, especially with the name, that the predator is exactly what his name is, a predator. It only hunts things that is like are armed or are a threat because it wants the thrill. It's for the thrill.
Yeah.
It's hunting for the thrill, not because it feels endangered. It's a sport for them.
Yeah.
It's
100%. That's the whole premise of it. It's a sport. In all the other predator movies, it's the same thing. Like they're not hunting innocent people. They want people who have guns, who can kill. They are hunting other killers. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great premise, really, and I can't believe I don't know of anything before this that had that similar premise like that, So, anyway, so yeah, Hawkins gets killed, and then while the team searches for Hawkins' body, the predator then kills Blaine, wearing his MTV shirt, and I just wanted to bring up real quick because we always kind of tell this. This movie had a $15 to $18 million budget, and it made $98 million worldwide. Wow. So that's not even counting like VHS and DVD and cable and all that. That's just in the theater. So it definitely was a hit. It made, a very, very large profit. So then Mac glimpses the predator's cloaked form, and enraged by Blaine's death because I remember he's like, that was my friend.
I wrote a note about it.
Yeah.
That's why Mac was probably one of my favorite out of the 5 because his character actually had like a lot of emotions, and I think he was so tough. But I loved how devoted he was to his friend. He was like, I'm gonna. What did he say? He's like, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna carve your name into him when I kill him and whatever.
Yeah.
I loved his friendship, and it was so sad when Blaine died.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was my friend, and he said goodbye to him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah. He's probably my favorite.
And so that provokes the team. He provokes the team into blindly firing their weapons into the jungle. He's the one who hits the predator the first time.
Yes.
Mac gets him. He wounds him, and the green, slime blood comes out. Yeah. But nobody notices it except for Anna. So I just I want to say also that was a crazy scene when they were all firing into the jungle. All of them were just emptying at their weapons into the jungle. And because they see him doing it, so they know he's not a dummy. If he's doing it, they should be doing it too. And they all just take note, and everyone just starts doing the same exact thing. Very cool. And I love when the alien repairs its wound. That's a really cool scene. And then it's the first time you actually see the alien clearly for the first time. Very cool. So the team make camp for the night. They booby trap the perimeter. Then a wild boar triggers a trap. And the predator uses the ensuing confusion to steal Blaine's body. Yeah. That's how it was. Also, I mentioned I love that part where Billy says, what's he say? Oh, when they say, Billy is scared of no man. because Billy was scared. The tracker was scared.
Oh.
And they're like, why is Billy scared? Billy's not scared of any man. And Billy says, it ain't no man. It ain't no man.
Yeah.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. Yeah.
Like when the trucker says that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's like probably the craziest one of the bunch, you know. He's
I wrote down in my notes, I thought he was like the cool character. He was very tough.
Yeah, he's got ice in his veins, that guy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Predator wants Blaine's corpse because he wants his trophy.
Yeah.
And so the following day, Dutch deduces that the Predator is stalking them from the treetops. Dutch releases Anna, needing her to work with them to survive. And this is a great line also, where she tells them about the blood. She recounts local folk tales of a monster who kills men and takes trophies for their corpses. Typically, when the weather is the hottest, the team booby traps the treetops to force the Predator into a net, but it is able to escape, and Pancho is injured. Mac and Dylan, who want to make amends to the team, pursue the Predator, but they are outmaneuvered and killed. And this is the second time he yells, "Get to the chopper!" And but I love the line when they found out that it was bleeding, and he says, "If it bleeds, we can kill it."
Yeah.
Yes. I think it was Arnold who says that, right?
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like these. She tells about the tales, the folk tales of a monster. So maybe the backstory is these spaceships just drop these predators into the jungle like they're on safari.
Yeah.
And maybe after they're done, they're just like, all right, come pick us up. We're
Yeah,
done. We got
yeah.
some trophies.
Yeah, so we're learning that this is not his first rodeo.
Right.
Or if it's not him, it was another one of his buddies from the same planet.
But I did like the turning point from like, I think it was like after Blaine's death, when they're like from being hunted to hunting. I thought it was like, I did like it. I think it's like justice for their friends, and yeah, they all get killed except for Anna and Dutch, but still, I thought it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Predator soon catches the survivors, killing Billy and Pancho, and which is, you don't see Billy die, but the scene where he's standing on that big log, he takes his shirt off, he pulls out his giant knife, and cuts himself across the chest.
Yeah.
And he's basically just like, "Come for me. I'm tired of running from you. Let's do this." But you just hear him screaming, and so he's dead. But yeah, very cool. Very cool. But then that's when they realize that the Predator only attacks those that it considers a threat. So Dutch warns Anna to relinquish her weapon and to run to the extraction point. Dutch distracts the Predator before falling from a cliff into a waterfall and washing up on a muddy shore. And I just put here, like, great stunt. I even rewound it and watched it again. And outside of the stuntman not being quite as jacked as Arnold Schwarzenegger, like if I hadn't rewound it, like, I wouldn't even notice that. Such a good stunt. It's really a guy jumping over that cliff and into the water.
I think the stunt itself was fun, but I did write down in my notes that like the actual like camera shots like in the water, like going into the water. I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up on like better camera quality or whatever, but it was not the best. I thought it looked like kind of fake or not. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? The guy falling, it was a little grainy. You're right.
And even like when he's like swimming in the water, like the camera's not great.
Is it?
It's wet and it doesn't look the best.
Huh. Okay. That part I didn't know, but okay. Or notice. So the Predator pursues Dutch, but it seemingly is unable to see him, and leaves to go collect the skulls of the others as trophies. And that's when we, as the audience, realize that he sees with heat signature, and he couldn't see him because he was covered in mud. And I just got to say, I mean, how neat was that visual when Arnold is laying down in the trees, covered in mud, and he's just like being still, and the Predator's just walking right by him. So there's so many cool scenes in this movie. That's why I couldn't help giving it an A+. Even if it's not an A+ movie, for me, it was an A+ experience watching it. So I gave it an A+. There you go. Seeking to avenge his team, Dutch creates makeshift traps and weapons. As night falls, he covers himself in more mud, and he cries out to draw the Predator. It's so cool. He just gives a big holler. And I put here, great FX for its time, not laughable by today's standards, like the Conan the Destroyer movie. Like, that was just laughable. But this is not laughable. Even by today's standards, it's not bad. The special effects are pretty good. They hold up. So Dutch uses his invisibility to wound the predator, and he disables its cloaking device. And so they're kind of on a more plane, even plane, yeah. And I love him. He's hiding under the log. He's like, he's just so cool. And the predator's walking across the log. He's underneath it, grabbing on, holding on. But then he winds up falling into a river, and his mud camouflage is washed off. So, would you think about this? So, deeming Dutch a worthy opponent, the predator throws its gun down, removes its weapons and its mask, revealing its monster face, and he wants to fight him with hand-to-hand combat. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I think he was so impressed by Arnold's
survival skills.
Yeah, survival skills, exactly. He probably has never faced somebody that was as
such a good opponent
as him.
I think,
he's like, all right, I'm
liked
gonna.
how worthy of an opponent he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
He wanted to make it harder for himself, so he
Yeah.
earned it more.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool. I
'Cause
thought that was very in character
But
for
I love
him.
what he
'Cause
says
they are drawn to the
when he
sport.
takes his mask off.
Yeah.
I can't say it 'cause
You are one ugly mother.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. There you go. Some more Arnold for you, Matt.
All right, that's it.
poor Allie.
And then he's like, at the end, was he like, "What the hell are you?"
Yeah.
Before
Yeah. What the hell are you? Sorry, I had to sneak another one in.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
All right. So easily outmatched by the larger and stronger creature, Dutch attempts to go into a trapped tunnel, but the predator suspects his plan and goes around it. Dutch triggers the trap himself, releasing its counterweight, which crushes the predator. So I do like that. Even though Arnold is so big and so jacked, he's the biggest dude around, right? And he's the biggest guy in this movie. But in the end, he's still smaller and weaker than his opponent, the villain of the movie, and he has to use his brains rather than his brawn.
What actually saves him is his brains, and not
the skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's cool.
But I thought that the blast scene was probably my favorite. I liked the 1v1 so much. I loved when he took his mask off. It was my favorite because it was the most action-packed part of the movie. I thought it was the best. That was my favorite scene.
So Dutch is about to crush him, and crush his head with a big old rock, but he winds up sparing the predator for some reason. I don't know why, but much to his detriment, because I put here, always kill when you have the chance, and i.e. Die Hard, right? Next time you have a chance to kill somebody, don't hesitate.
Yeah, that's right.
Boom, 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 boom. Thanks for the advice. Right? So yeah, he shouldn't have hesitated. He should have killed the guy, because listen, this is not some cute little rabbit you just accidentally injured in the forest. This is something predator just killed your entire crew,
all of your friends.
All your friends.
Like,
why are you sparing him?
Bad.
Yeah, crush him, crush his head. He deserves it. So, but he spares him, and then of course the predator has a.
But I guess it goes back to his thing. He's not an assassin,
I guess you're right. Yeah, he's not an assassin, and the predator was helpless at the time. So, yeah, good point. So, yeah, the predator has a bomb on his wrist, and he sets it off, and it's a self-destruct button basically. And of course, Dutch just realizes what it is, and he starts running. He flees. He barely escapes this enormous resulting explosion that raises the whole area. And then the chopper comes, and as dawn breaks, the extraction helicopter arrives with Anna to collect the exhausted and traumatized Dutch. And yeah, like I put here, the only criticism was that in that fight scene, the whole red blurry, because this wasn't the Predator's vision with the heat signature. It was his actual vision, which was all red and blurry, which was to me a little annoying. But again, that's my only criticism.
My final criticisms were that, like I said, the one-dimensional characters, the pacing was kind of weird. I feel like in the beginning it was like a mission, and then like it just automatically turns to this like alien, and then every guy dies one after another. I think the action could have been a little bit more spread out. I think it would have made it better. And I don't know. There was a lot of guns and explosions, which is fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little more action and less like guns and explosions. But
you make a little more hand-to-hand combat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why the final scene was my favorite. They didn't use weapons. It was just them battling it out, and it was way cooler than the rest.
Okay, that's fair.
Jim? I would say my favorite thing about this movie is repeatability. I think this is a movie that you can just watch over and over again. It's just a fun movie. I mean, I don't think it excels exceedingly in any one area or another, but just the overall way it's put together. I could just sit down on the couch if I got nothing else to watch. I could throw on Predator and just zone out and watch this whole movie over and over again. It's great.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, it is. And again, I was looking for every excuse to just make this a regular A, not an A plus. But I had an A plus experience watching it, and so I went with
I
it.
don't think I would choose to watch this again.
All right, that's fair.
I don't like if you're like, oh, you want to put this on. I'd say like no.
And I'm sure this is going to be come across as a little bit well sexist, but I don't think you're its target audience, quite frankly.
I don't think so either. I do like action movies though.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this was very macho, very like I said, a lot of guns and explosions and whatever. I just don't think it was for me.
And you know, I do like sci-fi, but I'm a little with Jimmy where I don't like heavy sci-fi. Like I was never a big fan of the Star Trek series. The movies were decent, but I'm never a big fan of the series. If it's too techy, you're losing me. You know, you got to dumb it down a little bit. And but the reason I like Star Wars so much is because it's almost more fantasy than sci-fi. Yeah, it's sci-fi, but it's like it's all about this mystical force that is controlling the universe.
I think you're right.
Good versus evil, the themes of it, that kind of stuff. So it's not that techy at all. So
it's like the sci-fi plots. If they go into heavy sci-fi plot, it kind of loses me a little bit.
Are you a fan of Blade Runner and its sequel?
Honestly, I don't think I've seen it.
I'm not a big fan.
Okay.
Yeah. I have seen them. I've seen the original Blade Runner a few times. I saw the sequel once in the theaters. I just can't get into it. I mean, they're okay, but like, I'm not a huge fan. It's a little too techy for my taste. It's a little too slow, and I'm sure I'll get some heat for that because a lot of people love Blade Runner. But
never heard of it.
Well, it's it wasn't as commercially successful as Harrison Ford's other franchises like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, but a lot of people love it. It's although I do like Dune, but again, Dune is also very mystical. It's got a lot of fantasy elements to it, and they call that like the thinking man Star Wars. And I could kind of see that Dune actually came out first. The book came out before Star Wars, and I think George Lucas borrows a lot from Dune, and so that's why people make the comparison. But I do like Dune. I read all the books, and I enjoyed the new movies, the two Dune movies. I thought they did a really good job. But I kind of enjoyed the old '80s movie too. It's a little campy, it's a little cheesy, but I thought David Lynch did a pretty decent job, especially for the time. Anyway, I am kind of digressing here. This isn't about sci-fi movies per se, but one particular sci-fi movie, Predator, and I think.
Let's get into the fun facts.
Let's do that.
All right.
Okay. Well, I have been talking a lot, as I usually do, so I would love it if my partner in crime, Miss Allie, could kick off our fun facts. Maybe, Jimmy, you could read some too?
Sure. So, the start of the movie was originally very different. The film starts with a team of commandos on board a helicopter, cracking wise and listening to Long Tall Sally by Little Richard. Originally, though, the director, John McTiernan, planned something different. He wanted the team to arrive in the jungle, not by helicopter, but a team halo jump. What was going to happen was the team's plane would under fire from a MiG and the pilot would try to leave. Dutch would hold a gun to the pilot's head to force him over the landing zone, then run and leap out the back ramp, grabbing a parachute on the way. I think I like the helicopter better. I think it's good that they changed it. Yeah. One of the cast needed a bodyguard. Sonny...
This is interesting, sorry.
Sonny Landham, who played
Billy,
the team's expert tracker, was known to have such a short fuse that the studio hired a bodyguard to protect people from him. This bodyguard followed Landham everywhere he went to make sure he didn't get into any trouble on the set. On this, McTiernan said, we had this 6'8" tall giant who had to follow Sonny around 24 hours a day the entire time he worked on the movie and made sure he didn't misbehave.
But I mean, like, other than the girl who plays Anna, who are they protecting? I mean, every dude on this movie is like, a monster, like, well, I mean, maybe not
That's
Hawkins,
true, but I don't know. Maybe Sonny was a good fighter.
Yeah, Poncho's not a big muscular guy, but he's a former military dude, so he's got some fighting skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, who are they protecting, really? But
Speaking of the military,
Yeah.
some of the cast had military experience, which we talked about earlier. Blaine Cooper is the team's heavy gunner and is played by Jesse the Body Ventura, a WWF wrestler in his film debut. He was originally a real-life Navy SEAL before becoming an actor, and Richard Chavez, who plays Poncho, served in Vietnam, so had military experience as well. Ventura was actually interviewed for the role by Schwarzenegger himself. Arnold recommended him to McTiernan and said, "He's big, he's got a deep voice, and he's manly."
all true. Yeah.
All right. Another fun fact. Schwarzenegger and Ventura were in competition. It says when Ventura was being fitted for his costumes at the start of production, the wardrobe department told him that his arms were 1 inch bigger than Schwarzenegger's. I could see that maybe being a thing with those guys.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah. So when he went back on the set, Ventura said to the Austrian Oak that they should measure arms to compare sizes. All right.
Okay.
The winner getting a bottle of champagne. Okay. They measured arms, and Schwarzenegger's arms were bigger. Yeah,
that checks.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Yeah.
Ventura lost because Arnold had stitched Ventura up and asked wardrobe to tell Ventura that he had bigger arms. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is kind of fun.
That is very funny, man. That's a good prank.
I'm sure there was a lot of back and forth on that set with all those guys in one room together.
So sorry. So a character tick brought in by the actor Bill Duke plays Sergeant McElliott, one of the team's machine gunners. He has a distinctive character tick where he shaves even though he's already clean shaven, and this tick was brought to the table by Duke himself. The scene where he presses the razor so hard into his cheeks that he starts bleeding was a specifically made razor that squirted blood. I just got to add, I'm not trying to sound like I'm some kind of tough guy, but and probably as a result of this movie, I dry shave pretty much. I don't use shaving cream. I haven't used shaving cream since I was a teenager.
I can tell.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But and I do have a beard, obviously, but I shave my neck in this part right here, and I guess it's not technically dry shaving because after the first couple of things, I put under the sink to get the hair off. But then, I just use water, and it always makes me think back to him, Right, the cast went through some rigorous training to make the team more believable as a trained unit. McTiernan, the director, arranged for the actors playing the commandos to be given military training. A military advisor called Gary Goldman was brought in, and McTiernan told him, "These guys look like ballerinas. Toughen them up." So Goldman put the actors through the below drills. They walked 20-mile treks through the Mexican jungle. Goldman took them on road runs in the mountains. He set them drills and simulations for a few days. Jorge Chavez tells a story where in the middle of training, he lays down for a rest in the middle of the jungle trek, and when he sat up, he was covered in hundreds of ants that started biting him. He went into shock and ran through the jungle, ripping his clothes off. Jesse Ventura already had military training from his time in the Navy SEALs, and he said, "I'll put it this way. I wouldn't want to go in real with these guys, but I'll definitely do a film with them." All right, that's good. All right, we're at number 7 if you want to go.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Okay. The first big action scene took a lot of preparation. McTiernan gives us a taster of the commandos in action when they ambush a village of hostage-holding insurgents. It's a huge set piece, and there are so many explosions in the sequence that it took the crew 2 weeks to rig the jungle up with explosives. Oh, 2 weeks. That's
a lot.
Yeah. They didn't destroy any of the jungle, as that location had already been burned down in a fire a couple of years before. I guess that's probably the only location they'd let them shoot.
Yeah, for sure.
Though they did spend time spray painting the stumps black. Then when they started shooting, 300 Mexican extras showed up when they only needed 100. McTiernan paid them all and then sent 200 of them on their way. All right.
Well, that was nice of him.
At least he paid them, yeah.
Hey guys, so we had a little technical difficulty at the very end of the podcast. We just want to say thank you again to Jimmy O'Connell for being our special guest today. We also want to let you know that next week's episode is going to be 16 Candles by John Hughes, starring Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode. We hope you tune in for next week's episode. And that's it for the Rewind Gen X podcast with Matt and Allie. I'm Matt.
And I'm Mally.
Have a great and blessed night.